Success of the agreement depends on three things. First of all, private sector involvement, a huge, voluntary and unprecedented deal involving hundreds of banks and financial institutions around the world. Secondly, the ratification by all 17 national parliaments of Eurozone members. Our decisions must have democratic legitimacy. In order to convince our constituencies of the merits of the agreement, we need to explain the pros and cons very clearly. And third, Greece must fulfill all its commitments according to the terms and targets set out in our initial agreement with our partners in the Troika. Of course, I cannot guarantee the first two components of the agreement, but I can guarantee that Greece will live up to all its commitments. I promise you, we Greeks will soon fight our way back to growth and prosperity after this period of pain. Of course, it is unrealistic to expect any society to make such fundamental changes without a reasonable period of transition and adjustment. As Chancellor Angela Merkel recently stated, you cannot change a country overnight. I am sure she was speaking from her own experience of the challenge posed by the reunification of East and West Germany. You know much better than I do how difficult this achievement was. You know how hard it was to overcome skepticism, fears, prejudices that this courageous move entailed. And yes, there were costs involved. Yes, there were many social and economic challenges to be overcome. Yes, it took time to adapt to the radical changes that came with reunification. But ultimately, reunification was not just in the interests of East and West Germans. It was in the interests of all Europeans. Because for Europe, it was a giant leap closer to peace and security. It was a giant leap to building a European society capable in dealing with the new global frontiers humanity is facing, as we are pooling our sovereignty to be stronger, not to be weaker. These challenges are too big for us to hide behind our nationalisms. In these challenging times, we need a political discourse, a political spirit that says, I am proud to be German, as I am proud to be Greek, as I am proud to be French, to be Spanish, to be Dutch, to be Polish, as I am proud to be European. And this crisis must unite us to make Europe a stronger Europe, one that lives up to the common aspirations of our citizens. I am confident that in a few years, Greece will have undergone the same remarkable transformation achieved in Germany during the early 1990s. What we are doing is nothing short of the rebirth of a nation. And your contribution as dynamic members of German industry can be crucial. I invite you to Greece, a Greece which is changing, a Greece worthwhile of your investment, an investment in a future which will profit us all. Dear friends, the fall of the Berlin Wall heralded the end of a divided Europe. Now is not the time to rebuild walls in Europe. Europe must keep moving forward toward permanent integration, built solidly on social justice and sustainable growth. That is what our citizens want and expect, and what our history demands of all of us. Thank you very much for your attention.
George Papandreou, the Greek Prime Minister there, addressing German industrialists at the BDI Confederation meeting in Berlin. One or two highlights, very much calling for work together. At one point he said, let's stop blaming each other for our different weaknesses and start working together with our different strengths, taking very much a European view of the crisis in which Greece finds itself, and promising that Greece will fulfill the commitments that it entered into at the summit in July, at which the EFSF, the fund, the bailout fund, if you like, was agreed to be established. We're going to take a quick look at the stock markets in Europe and see if they've held on to those